Oh, hello there. Sorry, my latest experiment didn't go exactly as planned. Turns out adding sodium to my spaghetti made the spaghetti more... that! Hold on. That should do it. Much, much better. For those of you who don't know who I am renowned scientist, Dr. Professor. Not the same Dr. Professor who allegedly, quote, unquote, genetically modified an ape by retrofitting it with an assault rifle arm. Those charges were dropped, so you can't really hold that against me. How was I supposed to know the gorilla would start a fascist coup against the government? But as part of my community service, I'll be donating my time to reviewing these basic simulations that you Philistines call games. Originally, this video was supposed to be 10 feel-good games to de-stress to, but I don't do what I'm told. So here's 10 horror games like Granny. And for those of you pheasants who haven't played Granny, and you're sitting there like, I wonder if playing Granny is a prerequisite for this video. It's not. But just know that Granny is a game that will live in your dreams or your nightmares forever. Pretty much, Granny keeps you locked in her house and refuses to let you go. You'll have to find keys and other objects to unlock the front door or attempt to use the car in the garage to escape. But anything that makes a noise, a dropped key, a knocked over cup, will send Granny sprinting towards you with a solid jump scare that you'll never forget if you don't get caught. Horror games are some of the best gaming experiences out there, and if you've made it out of Granny's house, you're probably looking for your next fix. Either way, here are some spooky games to raise your blood pressure to an unhealthy level. Computer!
Yes, Dr. Professor.
Roll horror list algorithm SPOOKY. Let's go. Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2 scared me when it first came out, and now the remaster is scaring me again, just with beautifully macabre graphics. Since 1988, when the original was released, we've made leaps and bounds in making video games more realistic, which this game puts on display. A cut above the rest. Return to Raccoon City and relive the classic action, tense exploration, and puzzle-solving gameplay that defined a generation of horror games. There's something particularly creepy about the realism of shooting a zombie in the jaw and just having it dangle there while they walk towards you. It's anatomically disturbing, and I can tell you, for a face the zombies I made, the alleged reanimations of donated cadavers are just as scary as these ones. Outlast 2. If you found yourself trembling in a hiding spot from Granny, with no way to fight her off, Outlast 2 is also a fan of not giving you a way to fight back. With no weapons or fighting skills, players will need to crouch, run, jump, walk, vault, slide, and hide in lockers, barrels, wardrobes, beds, pools of water, tall grass, cornfields, and inside houses. The protagonist, Blake Langerman, is armed only with a camcorder that has night vision. That, of course, is battery-powered. This game's extremely dark subject matter discussed and shown prompted an initial ban of the game in Australia, so you know you're in for a truly horrifying experience. Because if Australia is known for one thing, it's the size of their spiders. If Aussies are scared by the subject matter, you know it's good. Alien Isolation. Aren't facehuggers just the cutest little acid-filled aliens out there? Run from the nearly unstoppable xenomorph in Alien Isolation, a tense, high-stress horror game that will make you throw your mouse across the room. The game has an emphasis on stealth-based evasion or running at a xenomorph guns blazing. The high-tension gameplay is enough to give you nightmares of how slowly Amanda Ripley reloads her revolver. Hiding from a near unstoppable alien with a motion sensor whose ping will alter the xenomorph to your location means you'll often have to find yourself hiding, listening in terror as the alien moves closer to your hiding spot. I could have designed a better motion detector in my sleep, but I guess blips on a radar screen are cool too. Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Amnesia: The Dark Descent is a first-person adventure game with survival horror elements. This game brings the horror up a notch, with many veteran horror gamers describing this game as the scariest game they've ever played. Monitor your sanity levels both in-game and out of the game as you avoid eye contact with the gatherers, and barricade doors to keep them out. Fun fact, this is one of the few games, other than God of War or Doom, that encourages you to behead a restrained person with a saw and carry their head to a portal. I can see how this could disturb some of you, but for me, it's just exposing ineffective security countermeasures. The Evil Within 2. The Evil Within series introduced me to one of my favorite horror dilemmas. This game is so horrifying that I have difficulty playing it. This isn't because of the controls or a laggy connection. This is because this over-the-top, gruesome game makes you afraid of opening every door and rounding every corner. At least in this game, I get a gun, but it doesn't seem to help with the terror of having a camera monster made of human body parts book it down a hallway and turn my character into human ground beef. This game uses all the old horror tricks in the book, and let me tell you, they work. Lucky for me, I use my anti-jump scare pills to sit through this game like it's Baby Town frolics. Still gotta give them credit. This game is an art piece of dismemberment and true terror. Blair Witch. The film The Blair Witch Project revived the found footage genre in film and inspired a generation of horror filmmakers, as well as traumatized a generation of viewers. This game will undoubtedly do the same for horror gamers everywhere. Blair Witch is a psychological horror that is packed with well-timed jump scares and even a dog companion whose safety caused more panic to me than the Shadow people ever did. This game's horror shines in its atmosphere, or should I say, atmosphere. Oh, have mercy and do behave. The sound design and stunning graphics set the tone for one of the scariest experiences gaming has to offer. Just know if you let the dog get hurt, I will track you down, and I will put you in a simulator to relive that moment over and over and over. That stuff stays with you, man. Dead Space. Let me take you back to 2008. Viva La Vida was one of the top songs, and people could listen to Coldplay without their ears bleeding. It was also the year one of my all-time favorite horror survival games was released, Dead Space. Isaac Clarke is an engineer turned madman as he tries to escape a ship full of necromorph monsters. Isn't he dreamy? See the way he dismembers the necromorphs is a gory display of poetic brutality. Oh wait, that's not poetic, it's just Isaac stomping a bloody puddle. Dead Space is a terrifying sci-fi horror that would make Cronenberg smile. Soma. It's frantic, it's frenetic, it's fear, it's Soma. With no interface or items to pick up, half the tension being built involves finding out where you are and where you need to be. Soma has scarce and adrenaline-pumping moments with a nightmarish psychological edge that has you thinking about a possible future for humanity. The game's environment is stunningly beautiful, allowing the details in the gore to be methodically placed for maximum traumatic effect. Layers of Fear. Layers of Fear takes the best parts of PT, a teaser game for the cancelled video game Silent Hills, and became the stuff of nightmares. The game subtly changes around you, building tension as you search for items for your own art piece. There are multiple endings, with the most fear-inducing being a man trapped in an endless loop of torment. Layers of Fear has just that. Layers. It peels you apart until your heart pounds with every step you make. Sleep with the lights on. You won't want to be in the dark, my friend. Fear 2. Project Origin. Fear 2 Project Origin was one of the first horror games I ever played. No hiding in this one, just gory, visceral first-person shooter combat. But Dr. Professor, Granny isn't a shooter. How could these be in the same category? Listen, something about Granny sticks with you after you've played. And Alma makes sure that Fear 2 Project Origin sticks with you too. The scares are perfectly timed, and Alma's psychic abilities send you through nightmare-quality hallucinations that will have you questioning reality. The psychological scars this game left on me are practically visible. So if you need a good scare with some severe mind meddling, Fear 2 is the only choice. Spooky season has come early, gamers, with any of these games being a solid way to spend your evening avoiding every mirror in your house. Make sure you guys like this video and subscribe if you aren't already, so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. Well, that sounds like something that requires my immediate attention. Wow, these cadavers really know how to bite. Well, if I don't get them all, sorry for trying to create my own T-virus. Resident Evil, you can't sue me. Technically, they're not zombies.